let's do a little bit of a recap. I was going to be horrible today and ask you the question, but instead I did a recap. But I might ask you some questions, but it's not a test to see who remember things. So today we're gonna continue with the theme of prophecy. I am very sorry. I realized last night that that is wrongly spelled. That's the way you spell it in Spanish. And it's Ezekiel with a K. Yeah, so I'm sorry. I already sent the PowerPoint when I realized that. So Ezekiel will be for you, Ezekiel for me. Let's do a little bit of a recap. We've been learning a lot, but the main thing is, what does that prophecy have to do with us? You know, why is it relevant to us? Are we just learning history here? Are we learning something that can be relevant for our church? So the next slide, little bit of an overview, and I'm not a scholar, a Bible scholar by any stretch of the imagination, so there could be some mistakes. This is an overview quickly that I've done of what we learned. But guys, who was chosen to be a prophet in the Bible? Who was chosen to be one? And we find that there was a shepherd, literally a shepherd with no prophetic background. Only God knows what he was doing, maybe picking up compost for the sheep, from the sheep, you know, and God just said, prophesy this over my people Israel. And I was like, whoa, I didn't sign up for this. But obviously he could hear God, and he goes on and prophesies. It's quite, yeah, amazing. So this guy, Amos, a whole book about him prophesying, a shepherd, nothing else. Then there was people trained to be prophets, because they were from a family of prophets. So in Elijah's time, in the books of Samuel and then Kings, and you hear that there's a school of prophets, and they were hanging around together. They were learning. You know, it's like amazing. So Elijah's time, and Samuel. So you will see that a lot. Then someone with a noble position, a super well-educated guy that he was taken into palace, and he served at least 4 kings. Daniel, quite. He was taken as a slave, basically. He was taken, and he was chosen because of his noble background. And oh my goodness, if you read the book of Daniel, he's got vision. He's scared of the thing he's seeing because it's too much, or he thinks it's too much, and God strengthened him. And so it's just a little bit of an overview. And then today we're going to learn a little bit about Ezekiel. Now, Ezekiel was a priest, and an official priest, but God just delivered these words, and he has to pass it on to his people, his very rebellious people at this point. And who can be a prophet today? It could be a teacher, it could be a doctor, it could be an IT person, it could be absolutely any of us led by the Holy Spirit. That is the key. That is someone who can be chosen to be a prophet. We have few in our church that are actually very almost casually just deliver a word because they're led by the Spirit, and we have them among us. So you may know some names come, but it's important that they are led by the Spirit. And when, we have a teaching about false prophets, right? And so that was amazing, by the way, brother. That was quite something. We're very well prepared. And the one characteristic is they were led by the Spirit. And they were all over the place, and they confused so many people. They still do. So next slide. We kind of finished with the review, and we go to Ezekiel. So actually, in the Bible, how were those messages from God delivered? You know, so through words, they actually heard God speaking. Hello, I am, God, like they could hear. Through images and visions, through dreams, and there's a lot of that. And then dramatization, very theatrical ways. And I've been flicking through the Bible, and there were very random, very, very, very bizarre ones. Like, I think it's Isaiah who goes naked for 3 years. Do that now and you'll be in trouble. But it wasn't about being naked. I mean, it's super dodgy, I know. But imagine he bore the humiliation on himself. So he's super bold, isn't he? Super radical. He just went on the street like a madman, naked, because he had a word from God. Ezekiel has a lot of them. So the next slide, now we're going into Ezekiel. And so he's a priest. At this point, Israel is captive. They're living in Babylon. And he has to tell and educate these people and still deliver messages from God when they are just, dispossessed and, very rebellious. They just, and God shows up again and tells them this and that, So Ezekiel received instruction from God through all of the ways that we mentioned before: visions, dramatization, audibly, voice of God, all of the lot. But one particular experience, he was transported to a valley of dry bones. Super, super bizarre. I mean, I don't know how it happened, but in the Bible, many times we hear of people being transported, suddenly being physically in another place. And he's in this place. So it's a bit spooky. I hope you don't get put off, but we're going to stay here for a little bit with this image. So that's how it looks like. The guy was perhaps in a temple, perhaps having tea, perhaps just whatever, and God takes him here. Nice, huh? And that's where God started speaking, and he started having a dialogue with God. It's just pretty awesome. So if you have a Bible, if not, the next slide has the whole verse, Ezekiel 37. Super small, but if you have a Bible, that will be better. So I'm going to read it and you can follow. So it's all 14 verses. So the hand of the Lord was upon me, and he brought me out by the Spirit. Claudius taught us on being led by the Spirit. Brought me out by the Spirit. Super weird, but it's true. The Spirit of the Lord, and set me in the middle of a valley. It was full of bones. He led me back back and forth among them, like super spooky. And I saw a great many bones on the floor of the valley, bones that were very dry. Just in case you wonder, it makes an emphasis here. Not only bones, but very dry. I don't know why that is there. It's quite obvious, but interesting. He asked me, "Son of man, can these bones live?" Now I want you to answer that question. If it was you, if you were Ezekiel, what was the default answer? Can these bones live? And they're very dry. No, don't think so. At least I would say don't think so, but in my head, I was like, no way. But it gets better. Ezekiel says, I said, "Oh, sovereign Lord, you alone know." Now, that's clever. Do you know what we do in counseling? When someone asks you a very tough question, you bounce it back a lot of the time because they're asking for your answer. And if you give your answer, then they will learn that you have all the answers for their lives. So you bounce it back, you know. And I say, "Oh, should I?" Like a counselor asking, you know, "Oh, should I separate from my husband?" And I ask you back, "Do you want to separate from your husband?" You know? And this is so clever. Ezekiel said, "Oh, sovereign Lord, you alone know." I was pretty smart. Then he said to me, "Prophesy to these bones and say to them, dry bones, hear the words of the Lord. This is what the sovereign Lord says to these bones. I will make breath enter you, and you will come to life. I will attach tendons to you and make flesh come upon you and cover you with skin. I will put breath in you, and you will come to life. Then you will know that I am the Lord." Wow. So, this is Ezekiel now. I prophesied as I was commanded, and as I was prophesying, there was a noise, a rattling sound, and the bones came together, bone by bone. And so I'm going to stop a little bit there, just in case if you can grasp what's going on here. I can't. So I need to pause a little bit. So the Lord asked Ezekiel, "Oh, can these dry bones live?" He goes, "I don't know, you only know." "Okay, prophesy over the bones." Okay, bones live, and they start coming together, and it's a wonderful dialogue. But this is not normal, guys. We need to understand that this is crazy. It was crazy then. It's crazy now. But it's only the power of the Spirit who can do something like that. Very dry bones, and they started this sound, you know, started hearing the sound. And when I thought of this sound, I said, that's the sound of hope, isn't it? That's the sound of hope. Nothing, dead. You're surrounded by, you know, dryness and horrors. As I said many times, spooky. It's in a valley full of, you know, and they sound coming together. And well, that's when it gets really spooky. But then they started taking home, and it carries on. The noise and the bone to bone joining together. I looked, verse 8, I looked, and tendons and flesh appeared on them, and skin covered them, but there was no breath in them. Then he said to me, prophesy. A lot of the time he says prophesy. To the breath, prophesy, son of man, and say to it, this is what the sovereign Lord says. Come from the four winds, O breath, and breathe into this slain, that they may live. So I prophesied, and he commanded me, and breath, as he commanded me, and breath entered them. They came to life and stood up on their feet. A vast army from, what were they? Well done, you are with me. I need 5 more minutes if you bear with me. Gonna keep reading, not long now. Then he said to me, son of man, these bones are the whole house of Israel. They say, our bones are dry up, and our hope is gone and cut off. Therefore prophesy and say to them, this is what the sovereign Lord says. Oh, my people, I am going to open your graves and bring you up from them. I will bring you back to the land of Israel. Then you, my people, will know that I am the Lord when I open your graves and bring you up from them. I will put my spirit in you, and you will live, and I will settle you in your own land. Then you will know that I, the Lord, have spoken, and I have done it, declares the Lord. Now again, this is by the Bible. I really want you to imagine being Ezekiel and experience it. I wasn't joking when I said dramatization. He was in the middle of it. Like, imagine being Ezekiel and receiving all that, and then you somehow had to deliver that to the people of Israel. You complete nutter. You just, who's gonna believe you? Because he was experiencing that. But I guess that's the risk we take, isn't it? The Lord was talking, and they were having such an amazing experience, Ezekiel and the Lord, and there was this trust when they could talk to each other, and then, but this is, go and tell the people of Israel about the dry bones. Okay. And then whether people believe it or not is the problem, isn't it? But he was bringing hope, like buckets of hope. When they said there's no hope, we dead. Now the next slide, no, 2 more, I think. One is the best. This is the reflection for us, because it's very well, right? We did an overview and Ezekiel are very nice, but what about us? How is this relevant to us? So the first thing is, God really wants to engage with us. When he delivers the words, and in verse 3, he was asking, son of man, can these bones live? How do you see this? Nah, this is terrible, Could be financial mess, could be family matters. I said, okay. This is dry as dry can be, This is really messed up. This is that. We can give reasons, or we can say, only Lord, only you know. Who was in the Bible that Jesus asked a question? No, you need to remind me. Jesus asked a question, and the man kind of said, help my unbelief. Who's that? It was
the man when he came down from the Mount of Transfiguration with the disciples, and the man who asked was, I think it was that one, he asked the disciples to cast out the demon.
Okay, yeah. Jesus interacting with his disciples, and And one of them said, help my unbelief.
Yeah. No, the man who was asking for bread.
The man who was asking for bread. So thank you.
Yeah.
And yeah, in any case, it was looking very bleak. There's very, very dry bones. There's no more sign of it than that. And then God says, prophesy to these bones. Prophesy. You declare, prophesy. And again, it has to be by the Spirit, isn't it? We don't know. We really don't know. How, if you pray for your family or for your financial situation or for that thing that seems like so blocked, there's a wall there that is actually sucking up your whole. And then the Lord is asking, will these dry bones live? And you say, only you know. Well, prophesy. And now I'm now giving you the authority and prophesy. So I put as a last line, prophesy into your situation when it seems impossible. Prophesy. Now this is Bible study for the week. If you can read these 14 verses in Ezekiel 37 and count how many times God is asking Ezekiel, prophesy, prophesy, prophesy. Just do a quick count. I didn't do it myself, so I can do it in the week. But I noticed as I was reading, and then I prophesied, and so that is how it works for us today. Prophesy and trust God. It's up to Him. It's up to Him to make those dry bones live. So homework is just bear in mind, if that's the only thing you remember, prophesy into the impossible. And count how many times in this little verse it says prophesy. And what is God trying to say? Amen.